This is my 1975 Chevy C10. So let's go over everything wrong with it. You know, starting with the obvious, the worst, the cancer. A little bit of rust right here. I believe there's a little bit on the passenger side as well. You know, this is pretty typical. It is kind of rotten down here at the bottom, so probably a patch panel is needed. It is bubbling with rust over here, and you know, rust is just going to keep spreading until you do something about it. So this definitely needs to be kept an eye on. Not a big deal though, especially like northern cars. Not a big deal at all. There are some bubble spots here and there throughout the truck. You can see some good ones right here, but typical. You know, other than that, rust, not too bad. Let's go here on the inside. And here would be the next rust. The sill plate area over here. Now I've seen these trucks where it's rusted out completely or where there's a solid gap. This one, not too bad. It's savable at this point. You know, same thing, got to keep my eye on it and probably want to do something so it doesn't just keep spreading. It is getting kind of deep this way, but you know, there are patch panels for pretty much every panel for this truck. So rust really not a huge issue on these trucks. You know, obviously, some cases there are, but a little rust like this, no big deal. Let's go on the inside here. Obviously, we have duct tape. You know, it is what it is. I don't know if I'm gonna put a seat cover on, but I think I'm definitely gonna, at the very least, put like one of the blanket covers. You know, that will help so that when it lifts, you don't get the duct tape residue on you. Been there, done that. It's not fun. Other than that, you know, the gauges, forget about it. They don't work. Speedometer works, but the other ones, no, not really. I think oil pressure actually does work, but and amps, I mean, it works, I think, but like, I don't really care about battery voltage. Gas gauge, that's a big one. That one needs to be addressed. I literally just filled this truck up, so it has a full gas tank. Gonna have to undo that, drive it around, let the gas burn out a little bit, and then drop the tank and figure out what's wrong with the sender, because it's probably sender related. There's no knob here for what gear you're in, so you kind of have to just listen to the engine and feel when it, you know, engages into another gear. So that's the thing. I don't know if that really is even worth looking into fixing. Obviously, just being picky here. No knob here for the fan speed. This factory radio, it doesn't work. I don't believe this truck actually has any speakers in it currently, so it's probably something as simple as that. I mean, also I'd be surprised if this works, but hey, it's probably just no speakers. I'm gonna be throwing in a Bluetooth modern-ish speaker in here, so it doesn't matter anyways. Glove box, it fell apart. I opened it after I got home and it broke. It worked when I was checking the truck out, but got home, it decided not to work anymore. And that's pretty much it for the interior. I mean, dash is cracked. It's not too bad. A little bit of tearing, but it's really not too bad. Headliner sags a little bit, but I'm not tall enough for it to touch me, so I don't really care. And then the back has this rubber, I don't even know what this is, paperish thing. Just rattles, doesn't really do much. So, gonna need to look into that. We do not have a middle seat belt. I read that it was an option. Apparently this truck did not get that option, so I will be looking into a middle seat belt. I know you can buy conversion kits to get the lap seat belt or the shoulder harness seat belt, the 3-point. So honestly, I might just go with that, but at the very least, I need a middle lap belt. Just remembered, if your truck does this with the door, I got a video coming up with a fix to it, so I'll save that for that. In the engine bay here, we have some broken spark plug wires. Here you can see this one. It is really bad. Like, And there's another one on the opposite side over there to the far cylinder. What is that? 8. That one is broken as well, same way. And honestly, the truck doesn't really stumble or misfire too bad. It does have a slight misfire because of that, but it's really not too bad. And it's amazing because they're absolutely beat up. So we got spark plug wires on the way. That needs to be done, obviously. Found out there's no V-belt on the AC compressor. Now, AC compressor does spin freely. Don't know if the clutch engages or not, but it spins freely, and you know, the air inside is really not too hot, which is surprising because I thought it was just low on Freon, but there's no belt hooked up. Now, unless it's slung off when I was driving, but I don't think it was. I can have a look back in photos, but I don't think it was ever there. So, gonna have to run to the parts store and figure out what belt it needs. I've never gotten a V-belt before, and I know there's different measurements. There's lots and lots of different configurations with the small blocks, so probably gonna have to try a couple until I get the match. But this one does go. The belt would be crank, pulley, the power steering pump, and then AC compressor. Other obvious things, it's gonna need tires. There's 3 Michelin tires on there. They're from 2009, so they gotta go. And then over here, this Goodyear Eagle. This one is, you can see it's cracking all along the bead. It is pretty bad. So definitely don't want to drive that around. Also, it's supposed to be a 75 sidewall. This is 60, so that explains why the truck is kind of doing one of these. So gonna replace that. I can't find the dot code on here, and typically that means it's about a 20-year-old tire. I know this tire is out of commission. It's been discontinued, so it's at least 10 years old. So new tires, obvious. We got the spare here. This is the other Michelin. I don't know why it's not on the truck, unless it's flat, but it doesn't really feel flat. So there's one other issue that this truck has, and it's kind of a safety thing. If you press the brake pedal too hard, the tires lock up. And it feels like it's locking up on the left side. And when you drive, I hear a little bit of a noise coming from this front left tire. So I need to jack it up. I need to see if the wheel bearing's bad or if the caliper is dragging. But either way, brakes locking up, that is not good. I did check the brake fluid. It's kind of low in the rears. So, and the rears are drums. So I'm going to want to take the drums off. Make sure the wheel master cylinders in here are not leaking. But definitely that is a big safety issue. Found out the hard way. Slammed on the brakes coming up to a light. Well, didn't slam, but pressed hard. And they locked up, so you just hydroplane forward until it eventually stops. So I'm waiting for parts. I got parts on order, and until they come, I can't really do much. But basically, those 3 things. Tires, spark plugs, and brakes. I need to check all those 3, go through it, make sure we're good, and then this truck should be very dependable, very reliable. Cross my fingers, hopefully everything goes well, and we'll go from there. And that's going to be it for this video. Not really much else, just waiting on parts, as I said. But I'm definitely planning on making a video driving this truck, but I also want to make sure it's safe to drive and all that first. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.